this News 9 special with me, Nabila. The second most important decision that you will make as a parent, apart from, of course, having a kid in the first place, is to decide which school you want to enroll them. Well, considering that we have so many options lately, what is the method of teaching that will really fit with your child best? Well, in this special, we give you a glimpse on what is best for your child's future. Know the trends, latest trends in international and residential schools in Bangalore. What are the unique opportunities and facilities offered to students in these schools? What is the real USP of international schools? What is the hype all around international schools and residential schools? And how well will your child fit in? Learn all that and more in this special debate, discussion rather, a small talk that we have with a bunch of experts joining us here today. To introduce them, moving over, we have Narmada Rao, who's a psychologist and NLP trainer. We also have joining us Miss Hamsa Venugopal, who's a managing director at New Baldwin International Residential School in Bangalore. We also have Mr. Krishna, who's the chairman, Indian International School, Bangalore. If I can ask you first question in order, what is this? What are the trends in residential and international schools? I mean, this whole hype around it. I'd start with Mr. Krishna, since he is the management of one of the international schools. Mr. Krishna, what's the hype around international and residential schools? Is it really one step forward for parents wanting quality concept-based education?
Actually, of late, the parents have realized that the entire globe is one, whether it is in Bangalore or abroad, whether it is US, UK or Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Germany. It is all become, it's almost one now. So now the parents are interested in having the international education with Indian value system. And number of residential and international schools have come up with international curriculum. That is especially international baccalaureate diploma program and international program like AS level and A level programs of Cambridge University, which are becoming very, very popular nowadays. And now the trend is the ICSE and CBSE, though it's a basic education up to let's say 7th or 8th standard. Now the trend is now everybody wants to go for 9th and 10th to IGCSE and then 11th and 12th for IBDP, so that they can have a long jump from here to any other international universities abroad. Now among every 10 parents we meet, at least 5 to 6 parents are asking for the international curriculum, which is catching up especially in Bangalore. And Bangalore has got, I'm proud to say, Bangalore has got the highest number of international schools in India.
Right.
And second is of course Bombay and Pune and this thing. So the very trend of the parents is to go for the international schools and take up international curriculum. And the main attraction is the international curriculum is totally based on project-based learning and inquiry-based learning, which is very popular curriculum. That is the reason why the children are also no longer it's a mugging system, question and answer system. It is the inquiry based. For example, in IBDP, any person who is going for 11th and 12th diploma, they have to write an essay consisting of 1,500 words.
Right.
And all the books are provided. Topics you can select among 20-30, and you can sit in a library. You can use except copy paste. You can do everything and come up. And all these corrections are done internationally. Everything is online correction, online education, online question papers. So no longer, as the old system of prevailing question and answers and mugging systems and all that. So it's a big revolution. And as we know that education system is actually very good in India.
Is there really a difference between the tag international and high school? When you say public school or high school and international school, what's really the difference in that? Or is it just a name tag ultimately?
It's not exactly the name tag. So the IQ levels of the students, whether it is a high school, public school, or whether it is an international school, if the student has got very good IQ, he can jump in. And now IBDP has got a big scope, even IGCSE. If the boy has got the score, for example, in IBDP, they have 43 points. Any boy or a girl crossing, scoring beyond 40, they get free education throughout their graduation program, passed on to the post-graduation program, be it is engineering, be it medical, be it law. It's just free education. And any university will give a red carpet welcome to Indian students and anyone in the world.
Of course.
And if they score 3 points out of 6 points, they get 50% free. They don't have to pay. If the boy and girl are merited, the universities make a red carpet, including the flight charges and the hostel charges, the universities are ready to pay. So it is the merit which is the criteria. It is not the public school or a private school is the criteria. So if like our Abdul Kalam, who was in Rameswaram High School, he has rose up to the president level. So it is only the knowledge, IQ levels, and as all of you are aware that in the IQ competition, in all over the world compared to Israelis and Indians and Israelis are almost IQ levels are on par with each other, are competing with each other. So India is second to none in competition, in knowledge, and even the spell bee contest, Indian girls and boys all over the world are number one.
Correct.
So IQ levels of Indian boys and girls are very high. So now more and more boys and girls have become highly competitive, and especially now in our school, there are more number of girls than boys.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So the girls always teasing boys, and not in the ragging way. It is on the competition level.
Of course, yeah. Girls always outbeat the boys.
Outbeat the boys.
In terms of results, be it SSLC or PUC, you often see girls outbeating the boys.
Yeah.
So that's a matter of pride for the womankind.
Yeah.
Kidding. But yeah, okay. You said more number of girls, concept-based education gives them more opportunities internationally if they want to study abroad. What about you, Hamsa? As Managing Director of New Baldwin International, would you say that international, the tag is not merely a tag, but it's concept, value-based education of the next, that will suit generation of today?
Yes, of course. International, it's not just a tag. It's definitely not a tag, because we are here to create a global citizen. So that's the main objective of having an international school. Yes, of course, the schools which are having international are in par with the affiliation with Cambridge University or the IB universities or different universities.
Right.
But this tag international holds a value in creating a global citizen. So what do you mean by global citizen? Basically, is empowering your child to face the globe. Empowering your child to face whatsoever the challenge the child gets in near future. Basically, you are giving an application oriented education for the child. He or she can know how to face the world outside. The curricula, the pedagogy in the classroom, the teaching methods or the tools you use for teaching. In fact, vanishing the four walls of classroom and having an open school is what an international concept comes in. But again, judging which school is actually international and is it mere tag for few schools is completely open to the parents' opinion and for the management who is running the schools. So yes, of course, international holds a huge tag if it has the programs imbibed. For example, in New Baldwins, we have something called a student development program. Each subject is not taught as a subject. We don't believe that there's English, math, science, XYZ. We believe the child needs to imbibe the skill set. So when you're teaching science, it's more of reasoning skills. If you're teaching maths, it's more of analytical skills. So you are building the skill set of the child, not telling them this is the theorem you need to write and you're going to face this exam and it's only acing the exams. These are not the concept an international school should have. You as an international school should concentrate on, enhancing and empowering the skill set of the student. So all the subjects has to be turned and the flashcards of subjects has to be turned as a skill set. So that's the main motive in New Baldwins. So that is how we are different compared to the outside. I'm sure most of, as Sir rightly said, we are blessed, and Bangalore is fortunate to have the best schooling. You know, if we have the best international schooling in the country. Gone are the days when you want to search residential, you need to go for the hill stations.
Right.
Bangalore has the best residential schools with all kind of facility which enhance the skills of the students on basis of time, on basis of value education, and on basis of accountability. Something called as sustainable development that's imbibed in the student of residential school. So that's what are the features the parents should also look for, and are the key features where the management should look in imbibing for the students. So that's
But what are parents' expectations usually? Let me go over to Ms. Narmada. Expectations from parents on what a school should be like. You know, they want the best for their child, no doubt. Even they want all access. They want the school to be close. They want the teachers to be great. They want the quality of education to be excellent. They want all of that in one school. So to pick a school, 100 expectations that the parents have in their mind, and finally get down to one. What is the line of thought usually when a parent is thinking of finalizing on an educational institution?
Nowadays, when I talk to parents, a lot of times I hear that I want the child's education to be stress-free, and I also want to be stress-free. Sometimes schools give so much of, in the name of artwork and craft work and homework, I think they give so much that it's more taxing for the parents than for the students itself. So when parents are looking for schools, one of the most important
A lot of big schools do that here. They give homework enough for the parents to do it. It's almost the parents are having a competition amongst themselves rather than child really learning. Yeah,
they actually do have a competition on WhatsApp groups. You'll see all parents posting, this is my child's homework.
Mine was better. Yeah, I know of these WhatsApp groups.
Yeah. So it's funny how it goes that way. So I think one of the things that parents look forward to is, how do you make sure that your child is confident and able to face the world? That's very important, right? So like she was saying, skill-based education is more important because you can cram in as much of knowledge, but if the child is not confident to be in front or stand on their own 2 feet, I think it defeats the purpose of getting any amount of knowledge.
And what's the point of the child running back to the mother and saying, you have to do this for me, because every other friend of mine is doing it, their parents are doing it for them, and it's, why can't you as my mother and father do it for me? So it's the expectation on the parent in turn.
Yeah, and children spend the majority of their
not an educational institution that you want. No.
And children spend the majority of their active time in school. So you want the child to learn and be productive and, come back home with some good things to, look forward to, rather than come back and then feel further taxed about something like that. So they're really looking forward to how children can actually get a lot of exposure to good things in life, how they can actually build on their confidence and all of that, because that's the one which is going to keep the children away from things like, any kind of bad habits or, depression or suicides and stuff like that. So holistic development is what most parents are looking for, and stress-free education. That's of pivotal importance now.
Stress-free education, but that's the thing, right? You think that your child may not be able to handle it, but then if you look at the child of today, they're ready to take on the world. They possibly know more than what you would know at their age.
No, for sure.
So could we be underestimating them by saying don't stress them? So where's the thin line that you draw in between actually ensuring that their capacity is fulfilled as well as they're not overburdened?
I think you get them out from their comfort zone so that they're really learning something, because when you're sitting in your comfort zone, you never learn anything in life. You have to be outside of your comfort zone. So pushing the child outside of the comfort zone, but not to the point of panic. That's the line that teachers and parents should realize when they're giving anything to the child, saying, I'm moving him out of his comfort zone, but not to the point of panic where the child now feels anxious and defeated and, questioned.
Correct.
So the judgments that come along with it, it's not, most of the time the children are not worried about doing a mistake. The children are more worried about what judgments and what aftermath follows after that. So that is
what if I don't?
What is my parent going to say? What is my teacher going to say? How are they going to compare me to my cousins? How is that going to damage my reputation?
My friends are going to laugh
family?
at me. It's just humiliation that the child is worried of most often.
So long as you don't do that, whether they fail in anything or pass in anything, they'd pretty much be okay if we don't strip a child of their dignity. That's most important.
So a good number of international schools, residential schools joining us here at the Elite School Fair Expo that we have on the 23rd and 24th. You can meet with all of these experts there. You can consult with them directly, speak to them on what's best for your child, and understand the kind of options available. So a host of them will be there present on both those days, 23rd and 24th, Saturday and Sunday this weekend. So be there if you're really worried to know what your child's future could be. But on a final note, as we come to a close here today, sort of trying to dissect into you know, what sort of expectations that parents have that we've spoken about. But that apart, what about the fee structure? What about residential schools and their you know, how quickly do they accept a child? On what basis do they accept a child? Is admission a difficult task? All of that. Clarify, please. Go on. Sir, why don't you start, Mr. Krishna?
Now see, the costliest school, the international school, is Stone Hills International School, who is charging 29 lakhs per year, followed by TSB and Indus and all that. So I had to tell you that I am an IAS officer who has taken voluntary retirement and started this international school only to cater to the needs, social needs of lower middle class and middle class students.
Nice.
So I think we are charging anywhere below 10 lakhs. Sometimes give a scholarship for the merited boys and girls. We give 50% discount. And if he is a international or national level sports person, we give free education. And if he is below BPL, below poverty line candidate, we give free education.
That's great.
So
Where is your school located?
we are in Sarjapur Road, opposite to Wipro.
Right. And you see a good number of international schools coming around all over
Yes,
the city.
yes.
All of them feel that there is a market?
In Sarjapur Road alone, there are 6 international schools. And first we started, when we started, TSB and V, India Indian School, were the only 2. Later on came Indus and then Greenwood Eye and now Waka, Oak Ridge and other schools have come up. So it is only the...
So that means there are takers to it. Their parents are finding a space in such internationally originated concepts of schooling.
More so because Bangalore is the home to a lot of IT population who keep shifting for on-site projects and back. So when you shift between countries, I think International School of Education makes it easy for children to transition.
Yeah, that's what. So if you have to tell, if you have to encourage a parent who has his or her child studying in a regular school, how would you say it's different for them to make a switch to an international school? How would you say it's different? Any one of you?
See, the major difference between
For
the
parents
regular
traveling, how? Yeah.
See, when you talk about IGCSE or the Cambridge curriculum, this curriculum is available more than 160 countries. So the child studying in New Baldwin International, maybe Bangalore is an IT sector, it's a Silicon City. So if there is a parent who gets transferred to US or UK, the child who's finished grade 5 here can go for grade 6 in UK, there will be no much difference because the books, the prescription of the syllabi, the pedagogy and the curricula is completely imbibed to the Cambridge curriculum. So there's no much difference if the parent travels from one country to another. In fact, if the child wants to pursue higher education after grade 10, this University of Cambridge or different universities welcome the students of international certificate holding because they feel it's my student. You have studied in India, though you are a student of Cambridge. So that's how they treat you. And if we never know, the education is spreading over. Now we are talking about international education. 10 years from now, probably we may talk about the global education. We may talk about one school hosting the entire country. So it's basically the width of the spread of knowledge, the curriculum picked up from different countries, and where the child can face the world and face the different challenges. So these are, and for example, if you talk about the regular schooling, the textbook I studied is the same textbook now in CBSE. But when you talk about international curriculum, the textbooks, there's a huge research department working on the textbooks and the content. So there's a change after every 2 years, 3 years. I'm sure what Kerala floods we had recently will come up very shortly as one of the chapter, as one of the unit.
Right.
Because that's how the content development happened. We changed 5 years down the line we didn't have a touch screen or a normal mobile. Today, I don't see a mobile with a keypad. So that's the change we are looking for. And why not in education industry? In fact, the more change is required in education sector, there is when the international schools come in. So you're preparing the child for the
adapt
future.
to the fast-moving society, fast-moving technology.
Yes. Fast-moving society, fast-moving globe, in fact. So the child here in international school is prepared to face the world. Why? Because you are teaching a grade 1 child how to face the world 20 years from now. And you can't teach what's happening right now. You need to show him the future. You need to prepare him for the
What
future.
about the faculty? I mean, for all that there are promises made by international schools, what about faculty? It's difficult to find faculty who can bridge the gap between students of here to students internationally.
Right.
We may be superior from students internationally in different areas, but I'm saying to sort of blend in so seamlessly, there should be faculty also who are that with that kind of expertise. Do we have faculty of that nature?
We do have faculty, but then it depends on how are you training them. See, there's a cycle of teachers now. Before we were called as teachers, and gone days we were called as mentors, and now there's no mentors, there's no teachers. We are called activators. The child knows everything. You just activate them. So that's the chain of teachers evaluation. So it basically depends on the school who's doing regular workshops, understanding what is the requirement and then doing the workshop. It's not flashy and fancy to do a workshop. You need to understand each school is different, each crowd is different, each child is different. God never creates junk. Every child is a star, right? So you need to understand what is the gap the child, the teaching and the learning method gaps, and then work on the regular workshop, and teacher training has to be intensively taken care, because everyone you're not going to get a
That's
ready
our worry,
product.
because most schools promise the best, have charge a exorbitant fee, and ultimately you just don't know what kind of training the faculty has had.
Right.
So as many promises made, can schools of this nature deliver? That's the question. And you would say?
I think you will not have ready-made teachers at any point in time. You will have to invest a lot in the well-being of teachers and in training them, not just to deliver what is required, but also for their own mental well-being. Teachers is one segment where I think, unfortunately, in India we don't pay them as much as the corporates do. But that is one
but
area.
you want them to do the best, but won't pay them for
I
it.
mean, your entire future depends on them, on their shoulders. And no teacher is coming there for the sake of money, because then you'll not have teachers. People who are coming there and being teachers
Out of
are
passion,
genuinely
yes.
interested in being in that profession. Hence, they are easy to mold, because they're coming with that sense of, I want to give this back to the society. I want to, be a part of building the next generation. So when you're training them and you're investing in them and their mental well-being, you really are upkeeping the standards of your school at every given point in time. And I'm seeing increasingly huge number of schools spend a lot in investing in the teachers, not just in the students. Students will have counselors, yes, but teachers even more
teachers
important.
have to also evolve the same amount as much as students are
Even more,
evolving.
even more.
Because you never, the students catch it even faster.
Yeah.
They possibly outbeat you, by the next class.
Totally.
When you come and they come back to you, they'll understand your pulse so easily and come back with some more information, overpower you. So teachers also have to sort of redefine themselves every now and then. And you're saying that there is a platform like this in your schools for teachers and students alike. For a wholesome upbringing of a child, particularly an institution. On a final note, we have Mr. Krishna. Why don't you tell us what is in store for people who are coming into the fair? Do they have counselors? Your people there to guide them through?
We have student counselors, we have admission psychiatrists and counselors, young and old, young and experienced and all that. They will cater to the needs of the investigating parents who will come there. But the biggest problem for us is, again, in the international schools, to keep the teachers happy together, though they are well paid now in the international schools. Their figures is always 4-figure, 5-figure.
Yeah, wow.
Very difficult to keep them in order, because there's a lot of job jumping happening among one international schools to other nowadays. Why? Because the other school, if they offer even 5,000, 10,000 more, in spite of signing contracts with our schools, they quietly go away.
Right.
And also with all the training which the school invests and all that is all going away. In spite of 3 years contract, 2 years contract, that is always unpaid.
So that is the crunch there.
That is
the
a crunch,
problem
and
that
they are
you have.
always going away.
Absolutely, that's
and
true.
the parents' main concern is, why there is job jumping, why this teacher is not there, even middle of the academic year they go. So this become another big issue for the international schools to survive.
Yeah, so as much as parents, teachers are committed, they could also be now, more worrying about
And we
monetary
always
benefits
request on
rather
her-
than.
No, we
Everyone has to, but then if you're really passionate and committed to a child's upbringing, you can't sort of ditch your class in the middle of the year.
You need to really focus on what is it that I need to do to engage with the teacher beyond just the educational. So what is it that I can provide to the teacher that makes them feel invested in being in the school, being a part of the school, not just as a teacher to teach the students.
Correct.
What's in it
So
for
create
them?
that environment
Yeah.
on the whole. All right.
There is where the management plays a role, you know, and parents worrying is not at all a problem. Even if you are a parent, you'll definitely worry because you feel that your child is having that you know, bond with that teacher, and bondage is very much important when it comes to
Correct,
delivering
correct,
teaching
correct.
and
We
that
need to
there is
create
where-
that bond.
Absolutely, there is where management plays a huge role, and as ma'am rightly said, you need to pay your perks to keep them engaged.
Keep them engaged to a large extent, of course, but then you can't control those who are really looking to jump. That's one's wish, but ultimately a school's environment really reflects on the teachers, on the students, on everything. Every single part of the school reflects, you know, the ideas behind those managing it. So if you feel welcome into a school, I think that's the first step. You have counselors here who will guide you through on the best of international schools across the city. You have them giving you choices on what kind of what stream of education that you can choose for your child. 24th and 25th of November it is on Palace Grounds. So do walk in at Ashoka, at Lalit Ashok, beg your pardon. You can walk in, meet with them and understand what could be your next best option for your child's future. Thank you so much for joining us.